Okay, Dow Jones, we didn't see much follow through, but we did see it mildly go up. But we had a big move yesterday, so I was expecting some follow through. It wasn't really, you have the MACD cross, and we'll see where this goes from here. I mean, quite honestly, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to, and I really went light regarding the positions that I tried to take, and we'll see where it goes from there. But I think everything, regarding is looking bullish. If you want to look at the weekly, look at that. I mean, right now you have the high of 16,174. We're at 16,194. So we're pretty much above this candle here. And if we're going to take all this stuff off to really clean up the chart, you see we're getting above this previous swing. And this is definitely an engulfing pattern to move to the upside. So that looks good. Monthly looks good. A little bit of volume decrease on the monthly, but that's a longer time frame. But the weekly looks good for the Dow Jones. So it looks like a hell of a week, and you have to be able to change. You have to be like water, as Bruce Lee says. You have to be able to adjust. So funny thing that you see on a lot is people say, why? Well, how can you switch back and forth? How can you be bearish one thing and be bullish? Well, the price action might be bearish at the time. So before this candle, if you'd have got back a couple of days, let's say last Friday, you would have been bearish. But you had the follow through. If you were looking at the weekly, you say, listen, it's just a retracement until it really closes below, and then it'll give you another pop down. But there's nothing to say on the weekly to show you that you were bearish, and that's why you want to look at the higher time frames at the end of the day. So the composite, we see pretty much the same thing. Didn't have much follow through. Again, on the daily, if you're looking at the weekly, you see now we tapped the 10, continue to go up. So let's see if we could close above this high of this candle, basically around that 4100 level. If we can get it back above that, that would be a good sign. Russell bearish Harami. So that's a Japanese candlestick, and we got to see what's going on here. If it could clear above the high, and we need to get above this 1133 and continue higher. We look at the weekly, you see that we look pretty good, but I would like for this candle to be a little bit more. So let's see what happens tomorrow with this S&P 500. S&P 500 still looks good. Looks like it's going to be an engulfing pattern. We have to see what it looks like. Bullish MACD here. Weekly, again, still looks good. And let's see if it could clear above these pretty much these high. Yeah, so if you want to put it like this, we could also do something kind of similar to this to say if it could get above this trash right here. Let's say if that was resistance. Let's see if it could get above. But weekly looks good. Looks good. So you can see that we have an engulfing right here. Currently, tomorrow is another day, and we'll have to see where that goes from there. And just consolidating sideways for more of the trend. Let's look at some individual names. You have Apple. Apple on the weekly looks like it's just retracing to the 10, which is a good sign for the people that are bullish. As far as this, I needed to give me some better price action on this. It broke down the sideways consolidation to the downside, and it didn't follow through. And that hammer, like I said yesterday, I said that doesn't give you a guarantee that it's going to pop back up. And so says, so done. At least they didn't do you dirty and flash that high to get all the buyers and then continue to the downside. So hopefully some people got lucky. But again, this is the reason why a lot of times you want to wait for confirmation with went away for confirmation with these candlesticks. They're not just blind, go from there. Starbucks struggle with the 50, back below the 10 weekly, still below the 10. So we got to see how that goes. Bearish MACD on both sides of the house. So we'll see if it could get at least above that 50 and go from there. You got PRA. That's another one that looks weak as well. It's breaking below the 200, sideways consolidation, continue to the downside. Tesla looking weak as well. I think this was probably from what I had. Yes, so this was me saying, was this a flag? And this was about a couple weeks ago. Actually, it must have been last week. Said, I don't know if this is just a bear flag because the volume is decreased to the downside. If we get a bearish candle tomorrow, you can see that this channel won't hold, and it could come and retest these lows. So that's something, at least it could retest this gap. So we'll see how it works out in the morning. It's still down 5%, and we go from there forward, continuing to look weak. Again, 200 is not a net. And if it wasn't there, a lot of people wouldn't have tried to go long. I wouldn't have tried to go long this right here, right now. So it looks like it continued to go to the downside, and the weekly definitely looks very bearish right now. So it's closing below the 50 so far. So let's see what tomorrow brings. We got MasterCard to the upside. Looks good, continuing to the upside. You have cores looking good to the upside, just a little small candle. What I got into was actually Prudential. So I don't know, this one might get me stopped out, might not. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to figure out where to put my stop to not be too tight, because the weekly looks good. And I knew that this was going to be resistance that I had here from 08. So I wanted to see if it could actually get above it. So we'll see. It's might not have been the best trade, but hindsight is 2020, and I'm not gonna really worry about it too much. It was above this, and you see what they did to me, which I said that the other people got lucky, is they flashed me out with this nice little hanging man candle to get all the buyers in, and then rolled it back down. But it didn't roll too badly. Still, the intraday low isn't that far, so we'll see where it goes from there. Again, that happened with a lot of different stocks, so we'll see what happens. This might be an aggressive trade for some. Weekly, we just have to see where it goes from there for Pandora. So it's testing this trend line, so let's see if we could get a follow through. You got 3D actually looking good, continuing to the upside, and you also got D that might look to get, if it can at least get above these levels. But again, it just needs to get above that 64.94 was the 10-day on the weekly. So yeah, so that was pretty much what I was looking at. I was looking at a couple names, and a lot of them just didn't follow through at the end of the day. I was looking at FAS, that didn't follow through. A lot of things. So we got to see the banking sector, gave you a little bit today, but not, tremendous. This one's Citigroup is still in the funk a little bit. Goldman Sachs, same thing. So this could go higher. I mean, this, like I said, I was just looking more at the XLF just to kind of see that it really broke up, and this is what the sector is about. So you have a huge curl MACD. We just want to see if it can really curl and get above it, and then we can see if it can go from there, because the MACD does look like it's looking good. So far so good. So we'll see where it goes from there, and again, you manage risk and see where it goes from there. But the big name that I really want to make sure that you guys know, and this is what I was telling you guys before, Twitter. I like Twitter. Looking into tomorrow, really like Twitter on a nice decline in volume, engulfing pattern here to the upside, and I think it bolts back up and goes from there. I don't know if I have a fib retracement that shows, yeah, it didn't even get down to the 38, but that's fine. I mean, it's been just cranking, but again, at the end of the day, this one looks really good, setting up to go to the upside tomorrow. So it was up almost 3.5–4%, and the volume decrease gives you this nice engulfing, and now we want to see this go like this, and shoot, we just want to see price go up. How about that? So we'll see how that goes weekly. Yeah, you see that it's just pretty much been parabolic from there, so kind of go from there. But this definitely looks good. Give that little retracement on lighter volume. This is why I told you guys yesterday I don't like to retrace stuff like this, because again, this is a hard trade. So from this candle to this candle, think about it. It's just 2% retracement, and people are trying to short that. People try to short Facebook, got ran over, and then no, I'm still looking to get into Facebook. I'm just looking for it to give me this. This looks great. This looks great. So again, that's it. Let's look at Google while we're at it. Google did okay today. Again, it wasn't that much movement today in the market. You see that from the beginning of the video. So you just take it from there. Don't get too frustrated, and manage risk, and continue to trade. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, leave them in below. Twitter, you can email me at MaximusAnalysis@gmail.com. And take care. Trade them well. And if you're pretty much, there might be some people that are like, you know what, I'm stopping for the holidays. That's fine too. Do what's important. Family comes first. The most precious commodity that you ever will actually find in life is not metals. It's not lean hogs. It's not orange juice. It's time. That's the only commodity you cannot get back. So cherish it, and cherish it with the ones that you care for. Take care.